Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Will Charlton. Welcome to another edition of Noteworthy in the NCAA, a weekly podcast here on the Playback, brought to you by the UTB Network. Um, Talking about the latest happenings going on, the landscape of college sports. And I will say there was some ginormous news in the SEC that dropped yesterday as LSU head coach Brian Kelly has been canned. He got fired. Um, LSU just got slaughtered trounced by Texas A&M Saturday night, and LSU had seen enough. He had yet to take LSU to a college ball playoff. I want to say this was his fourth or fifth year there at LSU, um, and it's pretty crazy um, to see that yet again another coach has been fired. Now we're talking about Brian Kelly, Sam Pittman, Billy Napier, Mike Gundy. All sorts of big name coaches have gotten James Franklin. I mean, all sorts of big name coaches have gotten fired this year. And now there are just so many openings across the college sports landscape. And if you tune into Forever Power Five this past week, Nick DiMartino and I were talking about like who would be a good fit for that Florida position. We were talking about James Franklin, how possibly he could be that next coach for Florida. Um, and I think James Franklin's still going to be a very hot commodity coming into next season in terms of a coaching position, but just based off the success that he's had as a coach. I mean, again, I know we're kind of sidetracked because we're talking about Brian Kelly here, but back to James Franklin for just a second, I mean, he was one game away and one bad Drew Aller interception away from taking Penn State to the national championship game last season. So I think James Franklin's going to get another good job. But Brian Kelly, besides the year he had in Notre Dame when they went undefeated, and what was that? The 2012 season, I want to say. I believe it was 2012. Yeah, because it was the second to last national championship before the college football playoff started. Um, that was really the most success he's had as a coach because I mean, if we look at LSU's record ever since he's been the coach, um, and again, I'm pretty sure that he because Orgeron was fired after 2021, I believe, after they won it all. Um, I'm just going to double check this real quick because yeah, so Orgeron was fired for 2021. So Brian Kelly's been the coach for 22, 23, 24, and now 25. So this was his fourth season. Going back to 2022, he was 10-4 with LSU. Again, just not really living up to the expectations. He lost his first game on that heartbreaking fashion to Florida State in 2022. 2023, yet again, lost to Florida State, got killed this time. That was the year Florida State had that college football playoff team that got ripped off at the end of the season. So that was a 10-3 season where they also won a bowl game. So back-to-back years of not making the playoff yet, but back-to-back 10-win seasons. Last year, LSU goes 9-4, so it take a step down. They did win their bowl game yet again, but they did not win 10 games. They only went 9-4. So did LSU play in the LSU did play in the SEC championship game in his first season. That's right. Yeah, they did. So they made the SEC championship game in his first season, but since then, it's just been downhill. And after the game against Texas A&M the other night, where LSU lost 49-25 at home, 49-25 at home, Brian Kelly is gone. So that means there are just so many prestigious openings in the sport. And I'll show you guys this list that On3 posted. Andy Staples ranked his best available college jobs right now. Share a screen here so you guys can see this as well. So at number one, obviously you got LSU because that's a pretty clear-cut, obvious choice that is the most prestigious program available. It's had the most recent success of any of these teams. It's the only team on this list that has a national championship within the last 10 years. The most recent that also has a national championship is Florida, who's number two. Penn State's been right up there, obviously. But I mean, just looking at all these jobs right here, it's just there are so many crazy. And Stanford's obviously a weird situation because they just have an interim coach, and they have an interim coach for a college team, which is only something I feel like you'd see nowadays because of this whole NIL deal with Andrew Luck being the general manager of the team. He brought in Frank Reich to be the interim head coach this year, the former coach of the Colts. So Stanford should be looking for a new head coach as well. Oregon State fired Trent Bray early in the year. Colorado State got rid of Jay Norvell earlier in the year. UAB got rid of Trent Dilfer. I can't even tell you who the head coach of Kent State was. UCLA, obviously, they're not going to – I doubt they're going to stick with Tim Skipper as the head coach. Mike Gundy is gone after 20-plus years at Oklahoma State, however long it was, which he had a hell of a ride there. Virginia Tech also is a vacancy that's open right now. And so yeah, I mean, there are just a ton of great jobs available. And I think you're going to see some really big names be transferred over some jobs because another name that was coming up for LSU already is Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. So that would be kind of wild if like LSU is able to poach away like Lane Kiffin or Florida's able to poach away like Lane Kiffin or something like that. But Clark Lee's also up there. Pat Summerall, the head coach of Tulane. I'm pretty sure that's Pat. No, that's not who I'm thinking of. One second, I gotta look up. John Summerall, not Pat Summerall. Pat Summerall is a really famous football player. John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane right now, is a hot name for LSU because obviously that's Louisiana still. So there's a lot of Clark Lee out of Vanderbilt. I know Matt Campbell is an option that's being thrown around, the head coach of Iowa State right now. So there's a lot of crazy things going on right now with this board right here. It's kind of wild to think that there are just already so many crazy openings going on. And we're gonna I bet they're gonna be filled relatively soon. Probably not toward the end of the season, but they'll be filled at some point here soon. So as we always do, let's check out the new AP poll for this week. And before we get into that, just wanted to let you guys know that coming up at 6:45 Eastern, Nick Morgeson and Cal McClure will be doing an NBA on NBC doubleheader live stream here coming up on Playback. So make sure you stick around for that. I'm gonna take a look at the new AP poll. Here it is. So we'll share a screen again and show you guys what the new AP poll looks like. So not much movement at the top. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M stay at the top as three of the unbeatens in the country. Ole Miss is up to 7 after a nice win on the road at Oklahoma. I think they moved up from 9, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they're at 9 last week. Georgia Tech's still at 8 right now. I actually think they moved down a spot. I'm pretty sure they were at 7 last week, but Ole Miss jumped them. Oregon's at 6. Georgia's at 5. So that top 5 looks pretty darn accurate to me. Obviously, you can't put Georgia over Alabama because Alabama beat Georgia head-to-head. My Virginia at 15 is puzzling to me because Virginia just almost lost to North Carolina. I get they're 7-1, but I don't think that's a top 25 team after watching them last week. Virginia's gonna lose the game here at some point soon, and they're gonna be unranked after it. I mean, North Carolina's abysmal, and North Carolina went for a 2-point conversion to try to win the game. They finished. They came up that short, like literally that short. Like inches short. And Virginia was able to escape Chapel Hill with a win. BYU's undefeated still. They're at 10. Texas Tech, 13. They have a great – it's good to see them finally ranked above Tennessee because Texas Tech has a better resume than Tennessee does. Memphis back in after a big win against South Florida. So all of a sudden, even though Memphis lost to UAB, Memphis is now the front runner to win the American. The American is going to be the lead that sends a team to the playoff this year, not the Mountain West. So that'll be fun to keep track of. How about Houston? Houston, the 7-1 Cougars, cracking the ranking at 22. Good for Houston. They've had one heck of a season. They just went on the road and beat Arizona State. That's a great win for Houston. That's a really good team. Connor Weidman and company. That's a cool story this year for Houston. Texas, I get it. Like I get their name. Texas is not a top 25 team. They're not. Texas is not a top 25 team. They just escaped with another bad win against Mississippi State. Mississippi State's not good. Like, get Texas out of the top 25. They're not a top 25 team at all. And what's crazy is you see on the right side of the screen, ESPN saying Texas is the 7th best team according to FPI. Absolutely not. No. Texas is not good. They're not. Like, I don't get it. I don't get what is the appeal to Texas. I just don't get it. They haven't done anything. They should have lost. They could have lost to Kentucky. That game went to overtime. They just went to overtime with Mississippi State. They haven't done anything. They have one win against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's not even looking that good, really. I mean, Ole Miss just kind of took it to them this past Saturday as an underdog. So I don't really get why Texas is still ranked. I think it's just because of the name. I think it's pretty ridiculous, though. They still are. But, yeah, so that's the new AP poll for this week. Just want to let you guys know that with college basketball season now starting up, that's going to take main priority of the show since we don't have a college basketball podcast. So this is going to be more so college basketball centric starting next week with the fact that we do Forever Power 5 still. So if you want to keep up with your college football content here on ETV, make sure you listen to Forever Power 5 with myself, Sam Bando, and Nick DiMartino each week. That'll be what the main focus of the college football season is starting from next week on. And this will be more so a college basketball centric show, but we will still show the AP poll for next week on the show just because there won't be a whole lot of college basketball content going on just yet. So that being said, it's going to do it for Noteworthy in the NCAA this week.